You think if you have 499, you don't get a pension, that you will get one if you have only 500 when the charge is 750? Might doubt it. But mind you, when the politicians didn't qualify for a pension, because remember when Erskine Sandiford was prime minister and the rebels in his party voted against him to bring him down. He, rather than resign, he called an election. So a number of people didn't qualify for pension. And you know what the incoming party did? They changed the law to start the parliamentary day from the day you get elected, not the day when you were sworn in. So as to give them some more time to qualify. Yeah.
Wow, wow.
They always find a way to give us some money.
You know, this information, guys, somebody's saying this is so much, this is very informative. The idea here, folks, it's not, listen, whoever was in power, whoever, whatever, any of these parties with PPP, whatever, DLP, BLP, APP, whatever, listen, we needed to be doing this exact thing. This is about economic justice. There is injustice being done, guys. And if this doesn't wake us up, I don't know what will wake us up, right? Listen, there is there's just give someone from the audience is here with a question or a comment. Isis, do you have something? Welcome to the show, and I just want to let everybody know there's a link that's in the chat. I'm going to put it in again, and it says StreamYard. Okay, you can find it on the Marcia Week Show or on the YouTube page. I just put it on. You can use that to come in, to make a comment or to ask a question. Okay, go ahead, Isis. Let it be brief, and then so Mr. Caswell can continue. Go ahead.
Divine greetings to you, Marcia, and the TMWS family, along with Caswell Franklyn.
Yes, thank you.
I don't really have questions because I was supposed to be doing a Facebook Live, but I was having internet issues on the same NIS. This is very concerning for me because I was working from the time I was 16 years contributing to the National Insurance Scheme. I also have, for me personally, access to the NIS portal. And I know how much contributions I have paid today, so I know how far away I am from the 500. Now you are moving the goalpost to 750 contributions when a lot of people looted the national insurance. Why do we always have to pick up the buy? Why do we always have to pick the buy for when people loot? They did it with the VAT. The VAT was supposed to be paid in. It was never paid in. People kept their VAT license after doing something like that. We knew who wasn't paying in the money. Yet these people can go on, and we, who ancestors bled and dead, a day before this so-called Emancipation Day. And if we're looking at the significance of emancipation, even when it was passed in 1834, our ancestors were still held on from in Barbados for another 4 years. That is how you get 1838. A lot of people missed it. The bill was passed in 1834. Here we have these politicians in 2023 doing these kind of hideous things. I am not at all happy with this. Why should I have to pay? This is our fund. Like Caswell said, this is more than a contribution. It's our lifeline. I contributed to my lifeline at 16 years. I turned 43 the day after. This thing came over. Friday, Saturday, July the 29th was my 43rd birthday. You add 25 years to that, that is 68 years. I'm going to say this. My mom died at 68, which means at the pensionable age, as you know, moved from 65 to 67 when it was time for her pension. She died. Next month is going to be 2 years. How much of her pension? And she slaved for a company in this country. Something have to give. Enough is enough.
Wow, this is real for you. This is real for you, Isis, and this is why I come on, you know, Mr. Franklyn. It is for people like her and for all of us, And I'm so glad that Brass Tacks decided to do a show today, because we need a space so we can speak This is supposed to be a democracy. We need economic justice, and that is what this sick out is all about. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Isis. Thank you so much. I see somebody else is trying to come in. Gary D, you will need to put on your devices so we can hear. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Isis? Okay, she's gone. Listen, this is a real issue. Folks, share up this live. Share up the live. Barbados, I am telling you, when you start to come together, you know, there's a bit biblical analogy I was thinking of, Mr. Franklyn, as we were coming on. It's Ezekiel 37. You know, I know you have some church people out there. You have different kinds of people. ISIS is, I think, Rastafari. There are different kinds of people. But there's a scripture, it's Ezekiel 37, when the dry bones and those bones that, you know, people are dead, and they're not just dead, but they're dry, right? And then when they started to come together, they came together as a mighty army. And I'm saying that tonight, as the information, the knowledge is going out, that the bones are coming together, and a mighty army is going to stand up, going to be going out there. And don't let anybody tell you that this is political. This happened in France in March, okay? And it had nothing to do with no politics. The people wanted economic justice. And it is the same issue in Barbados. It was the exact thing. It's just that theirs was what, I think 63 years. And this is 68. Is it was 63?
62, and they wanted to take it to 64.
Right, they wanted to move it to 64. And listen, they are planning to move yours to 68. And what are you going to do? Just put the sheet over your head and go back to sleep? No. No.
You know, pension age in Barbados was 68. When I was a little boy, my grandmother got her pension. I remember quite well. She got her pension. In those days, the pension should be paid not from national insurance, because the welfare department or the I want to say they paid it. It was, but they changed the names all the time. But it was a function for the government, a government department, to pay for people who as a matter of fact, prior to Tom Adams' time, you had to be means tested. And if you had resources that you can live on, you didn't get a pension. Tom said no. Pension age is 65. I'm 65. And if you reach 65, you get your pension. And now his party undo everything that he did. Get back to 68 without consulting us, just because they talk to the IMF, like the IMF lives in Barbados, the IMF going to suffer here. Mind you, politicians are not going to suffer, you know. You hear the conditions I tell you that they get their pensions under. Mind you, even if you're a backbencher, you get all these pensions too, you know. Then you only go work 1 day a week, because most of us only work 1 day a week, and then they don't even sit down for the whole debate. And they live lavish lives, offer the people, and their pension age starts at 50. And how in good conscience can they say to people, oh, I'm going to get my pension at age 50, but you go wait till 68? That's 18 years. They will get a pension before anybody else. That cannot be fair. What makes them so special that they're entitled to a pension? Unless they were invalid or got injured or something, then I can understand you getting the pension if you've been declared an invalid or you've been disabled from work on the job, you get your pension early. But no, these are young, strong men and women who are going to work someplace else. And accumulate another pension. Well, at the same time, I want to get back to the public service pension, the miscellaneous provisions bill.
Yes.
Public service. That applies to public officers, it's the people appointed by the president and the advisory and the service commission. Then it applies to public employees. It applies to the entire gamut of public servants. but all of them will be treated similarly. So, and you will only get your pension when you retire at retirement age. So if you retire early, they will say, well, you are wait till you get. Let's say your retirement age for you is 60, and you retire early. You are wait till 60. If you retire at 58, well, you are wait till anything. Not politicians. That's one. Mind you, when they reach retirement age for national insurance purposes, they will then get a national insurance pension too. But the civil servant will get the pension from the government reduced by how much national insurance pay you. So the politicians are going to get two pensions. And they're going to get, because their salaries are fairly high, they're going to get a big national insurance pension and a big one for the treasury. And they're impoverishing people in this country and fattening themselves. And people saying they're taking it and pretend that they may know. A lot of people know, but they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to say anything because they got a mortgage, and they would get rid of me and they would hurt me. And you know what's happened? You sit down home, you grumble about it, and you're dead early. Over all that. But still ain't God is trying to kill you. No, stand up and speak up. Let people see that you, at least, are a man or a woman. Stand up for yourselves. This is unless we do that, and we let the politicians know that we don't accept the type of governance you are giving us. You can't wait 5 years for them to change them. In 5 years, you'll be dead. If they're bad behaved, change them now. I'm very serious. Mind you, again, like I say, I am not looking to become an MP. So when I said change them, I'm not looking for them to change them so I can get it. I am not.
Yeah, and just so people know, I'm not interested in politics at all. So those who are talking about politics, please, I'm not interested in that. So go ahead. Let's declare our hands here. It's about economic justice for me. Go ahead, Mr. Franklyn.
I have no intention of running anywhere. But no, Lord, I could barely walk. I ain't running. I got a bad knee. And so I don't have anything. So I don't make nobody believe that I'm saying these things to benefit myself. I am not. I am saying these things because the average Barbadian refuses to say them, and it's hurting them. You know, they call me. You'll be surprised the things that people call me about. And I have to sit down and listen. I remember one day a lady came to my office, and she sat down and she was talking. And they said, Madam, you know, there's not really anything I can do for you. You know, she says, you did, you listened, and nobody will listen to me. And she was emotional, you know. I said, so that made me even a better listener because she said I did something good for her.
Yeah.
And all they did was sit down and listen to what she was saying. People can get off the chest. And if you don't get this thing off your chest, they can kill you.
Well, there's Marsha Hinds Myrie, who's on. Good night, Marsha. Welcome to the Marcia Week Show. What's your contribution this evening?
Greetings. Thank you very much. I just quickly wanted to come and say that I am in full support of the Sickout on Wednesday. Thank you, Caswell. I listened to you both today and yesterday. And, you know, it's informative as always. I would like to take the opportunity to ask, because I just did a piece of research around the United Nations UN House in Barbados. And I was making the point that for having the UN headquartered in Barbados and all the duty-free concessions that they get and that kind of thing, we as the people of Barbados don't get enough for what we've given to them, the 3 acres of land, I think it is. But I was the most surprised person when I was doing the piece of research to discover that the piece of land that UN House is on is still on the books of the Land Registry of Barbados as the property of the National Insurance Scheme. And when we are thinking about the scheme, and when we're thinking about the state of the scheme right now, it is not just the fact that the politicians pilfer and, you know, set the law and that kind of thing such that their pensions can come out first and at a shorter time. It also has a lot to do with how the resources of the fund have been managed over time. I sent email after email after email to the communications consultant at the National Insurance Scheme to confirm or deny whether the land that UN House sits on right now is in fact property of the National Insurance Scheme. And if it is, what type of lease agreement are we, the people of Barbados, benefiting from? Absolute radio silence. And so, you know, I think that is something that we also have to pay attention to, not just the pensions, but the fact that the NIS has been used as a personal piggy bank on both sides of the political fence by politicians. So really and truly, it's, you know, I just wanted to say that, and very quickly to also say that this government sends clear statements to the people of Barbados all the time that they don't care about us. This is the government of the government industrial school. This is the government that still, although they have been, they lost, there's a judgment that they're supposed to pay, you know, two young ladies a certain sum of money. They have done nothing to put that money where it's supposed to be for those children. They basically think,
they haven't done anything.
They have not done it. And so there's a way in which this government clearly says to us, money is too much money for the people of Barbados. If I were there, I would definitely be sticking out on Wednesday. I heard Colin Jordan today. I thought he was very arrogant and presumptuous when he was basically saying that Bajans know better and understand and will show up for work. It is arrogant. It is arrogant.
He said Bajans know better and are mature enough, and they will show up for work. That is what they're saying, guys. And that is what they're banking on. They're banking on that.
Press on, Caswell. You have my full support. And if there's anything that I can do in the background to rally the troops, to call, to canvass, whatever it is, you have my full support.
And Miss Hinds Myrie, I want to. I don't have your contact information, but I'm sure we'll be able to find each other. I think I know this name. I'm hoping it's the same person.
It is the same person. Yes.
I want to hear about the girls and the monies that were supposed to come to them. This is all about justice, and we had used this platform to push that, to support what you were doing. So I want to get a follow-up on that. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. What about what she said about the NIS lands that the UN building is on there? What did you know anything about that, Mr. Franklyn?
I didn't know about national. That is not unusual for national insurance to build the government with national insurance money that they're never going to recoup. Like for instance, they're building a fire station up there in the Pine. They're building it with national insurance money. I spoke about it in the Senate when it was there, and I said, why should the national insurance be building a fire station? That's something to come from the consolidated fund. And they assured me back then that the national insurance scheme was awash with money, so we could afford to take a little bit and build a fire station. They said that back then, you know. That was years ago. So I want to. Somebody have to be lying.
Hold a minute. So when they said that there's enough money that they could just go and build a fire station?
They built the fire station is being built now. And it's being built by the national insurance, out of national insurance funds, and the government can rent it or whatever they're going to do with it.
But hold a minute. So what was wrong with the fire station that was in town?
The fire station that was in town was too close to where they're going to put the Hyatt. All right, you know what?
People, listen, Barbadians, Bajan people, don't let me start talking Jamaican tonight, because this is a bunch of nonsense. Nothing was wrong with the fire station, but they're going to know they went ahead based on what Mr. Franklyn is saying and use NIS money to go build a new fire station because of what they plan to do. You guys hearing this? Bajans, you hearing this? Sleeping giant. You
Now
hearing
what?
this?
I am not. You see, national insurance is supposed to invest the funds that are not needed immediately for pensions and stuff. They're supposed to invest that money. And national insurance had a very good investment committee. So Robert Adams said that yesterday on Brass Stacks, it did a creditable job. So they want to fix that. It was working good and they want to fix it. So if it's working good, you want to fix it, that means you don't want it to work good. But that fund, they had invested in things like Barbados Light and Power. You know what you see how the electricity bills going up, but then you can imagine national insurance having a good chunk of that thing there. The last administration, the last DLP administration sold them. You don't sell shares in Light and Power and put on the money bank and they get 1% interest on it. When the dividends from the Light and Power was massive, that it mirror corn and bear money. But they did it too because they wanted money. They built the government offices that they refused to maintain, and then the place become uninhabitable. They go and they build other buildings out of national insurance funds. The building and warrants there, they call warrants Tower 2.
Yeah.
National insurance.
Listen, Bear John, I'm telling you, I am telling you all, people. Listen, listen, the bones are coming together because there is no way that what we are hearing tonight, that this is going out in the airways and we remain silent. Listen, the only thing that is going to be left for them is them to take us and put poo-poo on us. You understand? To just defecate on us. That's the only thing that is left to do. As they would, Bejan would say, they do jobby on you. That's the only thing left to be done. It's jobby, they jobby in your face. That's the only thing. This is nonsense.
Bob Towers in Boring Bottom, where corporate affairs electoral property is, national insurance. Yeah, man, I say, yeah. National insurance build that too. So you're taking the people's money that should go out and invest and get a good return. You're taking it and putting it in government hands, and government is refusing to pay for it. And then when they borrow money to write it off. And there's no control over them. Are you talking about democracy? If Barbados was truly a democracy, a parliamentary committee would have summoned the prime minister and everybody else there to get answer questions. Nobody can ask summon the prime minister in Barbados. You see, which is soon out here had to go before a committee and might look foolish in the British Parliament because he wasn't completely straight with the people in Parliament. Parliamentary committee called him to book and he had to go. We don't have a democracy in Barbados. We got a little show. Look, I can tell you something now. There's something called Hansard, where when you speak in the house, it is written down. You can go to England by 8 o'clock the following day and get the Hansard for the day before. The last time Hansard was published in Barbados, Roy was speaker. Ishmael Roy. He was the speaker of the house. We haven't had Hansard since. So none of the speeches that I made in the Senate is available to anybody in Barbados, anywhere. None.
What a democracy. What a democracy.
Not the official form.
Huh?
No, I said not the written and official form. Hansard has not been published since 2000, since when I think it's 2007 when Roy was speaker, because Barbados the party lost in 2008. And Roy, of course, then didn't become speaker again. So it was in 2007 that the last publication of Hansard. These people just make fun at the system, do a lot of nonsense, and get away with it because Barbadians are not vigilant enough to protect their own interests.
You know, this is another thing that is concerning me here, and I don't want us to leave here without talking about it. Miss Marsha Hinds talked about the arrogance of the minister, Minister Jordan, where he's saying he knows Barbadians are not going to, then they're going to go to work, is what they're actually saying, right? And here comes BWU. They come out and they now say that they have no connection to messages claiming planned island-wide sick out on Wednesday. But I didn't see any message saying that BWU was responsible for that. Did you see any messages, Mr. Caswell? Did you see any messages passing around on Facebook that BWU was responsible for the planned island-wide sick out on Wednesday?
They had any connection with it? If they had any connection with it, my funeral would be next week. It would have killed me, not them.
So, I mean, who expected Tony Moore? She's the general secretary, right? She's general secretary. We would have expected her to okay, and for them, the BWU that is basically part of the government, to okay a sick out on Wednesday. Nobody expected it. I don't know what they were trying to do with this with this article in the newspaper. What are they trying to do? To distance themselves from it? But we know you're already distanced from it. We know you do nothing for your workers. We know that you're a sham of a union. You're not a union. You're an arm of government, and you should be ashamed of yourself to say that you're not associated with the planned the island-wide sick out on Wednesday. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be so ashamed to say it. People are talking about economic justice. You hear the woman who came on to say her mother dead before she get her pension, huh? And put it to 68 years, and you're gonna get yours early. And the people talking about it, and you talking. Don't let me talk Jamaican on here tonight. Nonsense. Somebody they expect you to be talking about your planning nothing. How can you, an arm of government? And let me tell all of you on here that's part of this fake union. Listen to me, people. Wanna go take back on the money if you can take back on the money from this, and stop paying whatever you are paying them. This is nonsense. This is a charade. This is wickedness to the heights. Which workers have they stood up for in this country? This is an arm of government. Call them about the sick out. They already told you that they have distanced themselves from it. They have distanced themselves from what you are going through. Bajans. They're not representing no employees. Liars. They're not. It's a fake union. Caswell didn't say it. I say it. It's fake. It's part of the government. How can a union be part of the government? That's my little rant, because I was so upset when I saw this. What is it? What are they trying to prove with this article? What are you trying to prove?
Sometimes people come to me complaining that they have been complaining to BW for a year and they have not responded, but they can jump fast and respond. It's less than 24 hours, though. But you see. I was going to say the answer to the master's whip, but it's not a master, it's a mistress. The answer to the mistress is whip. That is as simple as that. But Bajans, I tell people, like if you have a dog tied in the yard for a number of years, if you release that dog and open the gate, you don't run through the gate. You start right there, so close to the state. And that is how these major unions have people in Barbados got them tied like that. And even though the door open for them to come out, they don't come out. But they will complain. I have had instances where people come to me and tell me, I am a member of a particular union, but I don't want them to represent me. I got a problem, they want you to do it with me. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Go back to them. You are paying them. You're not paying me. But their members don't have any confidence in them. And the members know it.
Confidence in them.
But,
wow.
But I'll tell you something. I've had instances where managers, permanent secretaries, senior public officers telling people, don't join Caswell Union. Join BW or drink NUPW. Now, if you have a situation where somebody put you on court, and then the person is going to tell you, but go and get X as your lawyer, you will go for that lawyer? But that's what's happening. They are telling you who you should have as your representative.